In partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Azatec, Global Flix, Film Vault, ESTV, and Motorvision.tv.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Okay, shall I bring us back in then?
There we go. Sorry, I had to take a little power nap there, guys. Just a little beauty sleep.
I think we've all been put through the ringer, let alone the drivers out on track at the moment. Welcome back to the final part of the final bit of qualifying for 2021, guys. Here at Le Mans, it's been a frantic one so far. Martin Hemmingson has been the man the most talked about, and I saw the biggest off on the way to his fastest lap in Q2. The dangerous Dane is at it again. Really, firstly, a big thank you to you all for tuning in. We can't wait until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, that's guaranteed. Let's get some updates. DPI, Mr. David Christie.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
Right, at the top of the field, perhaps no surprises to see, it's now James Zerba in the 64 Satellite Racing, still on that pole position, 3:21.330. He's just done a 3:22, so showing similar pace. Like Muener for the Team Rookie Monsters, currently in second place, 3:22.250, so getting a little bit closer. But Ryan Nash for 65 Satellite Racing with a 3:22.547 in third place. Fourth place is Taylor Lane. Fifth place is Sean Butler for Axel Sports. Sebastian Deville in sixth place, and get this, Team Viaductin down at the bottom in seventh place.
Okay, LMP2. Currently, I've keeping my eyes on Roland Zook's actually flying over the sausage curbs, coming out of the final chicane, and has just gone quickest again. 3 minutes 24.083. Joao Barbosa from Juices Motorsport Club. P2 ahead of Roy de Muink in the championship protagonist and the number 15. Gabo Hevesi in the other car that is in the championship fight, rounding out the top 4 ahead of Carlos Bastos from Ramada Motorsport, rounding out P5. 2.672 seconds cover the top 5 in this session. DSR Nightmare, E-Team Brit, DSR Dream Team, B32 Racing and Blue Steel Racing rounding out the top 10. Yusuf bin Suhail, GTE update please.
Pauli Ahonen, first race back in, sitting at the top of the standings in the GTE class, and that 128 Satellite Racing car looking good, looking like it's got a good depth of a team, and I honestly think Pauli Ahonen and that Satellite Racing car might be in for a win tomorrow. Either way, it's Mattia Krupi who's sitting on the overall pole. He's currently sitting second in class, just under 2 tenths behind Pauli Ahonen. And then Jose Berengawa nearly a further second behind is Marco Mazzetti sitting in 4th for Musto. And then you go down to the 45 of DIS SR Lab, who are in for an overall start of P3 or P4. And ID SimSport completing Q2 down in 6th place.
GT3 update, Mr. Kieran McGinley, please.
GT3 update. I'm getting a bit of deja vu. It's Adam Surej in the Mugen Sim Racing number 41 car, ahead of the 717 of Max Bunovic. So interesting to see how that battle leads on in the closing stages of the second qualifying session. Then it's the 404 of Glam Racing at the hands of Lee Russell. ID SimSport in the 177 in 4th place. The sister car, the 188, ID SimSport in 5th place. And then it's the 585 Azatec SimSport rounding off at top 6, and DIS Sim Racing Lab in 7th place, and looking like 6 seconds covering the entire GT3 field.
So, just by a guess, I'm not going to. I've been trying to do mathematical calculations, but I don't really want to drop myself in both feet first. But looking at it from this perspective, the number 64 Satellite Racing set to take pole position. That's 2 points. DAC Hackers, I think, if memory serves me correctly, were quickest in qualifying one. They're top of the timesheets in Q2. That puts them on provisional pole. Yusuf, it's looking a bit different, though, in GTE, because if memory serves me correctly, it was Musto, wasn't it, at the top of the timesheets, Q1? And now it's Pauli Ahonen for Satellite Racing.
Yeah, and currently for Pauli Ahonen and Satellite Racing, they aren't quite close enough to be able to take that pole offer from Musto in Q1. Musto were nearly 7 tenths, actually just over 7 tenths quicker than Satellite Racing, so they practically have it in the bag unless Pauli Ahonen can find something special. The interesting battle is actually between DIS, Marco Massetti and Jose Berengawa, because back in Q1 it was the 45 of DIS SR Lab who were able to find a 49.8, and that was just under 8 tenths quicker than WOSR. But in Q2, WOSR back on pace, 8.5 tenths quicker than DIS. So right now, DIS need to get their lap time down to about a 50.0. If they can do that, they're starting the race in 3rd.
So that basically means then, Kieran, in GT3 that Mugen Sim Racing are on course for their pole position. Is that correct?
They are indeed, and even more so now, because their last lap time took them now to a 3:51.328, which now puts them over a second clear of the 717 of Unison Racing. So if it were to finish like that, my money would be that Mugen Sim Racing would grab the GT3 pole position.
It's you know what's really been one of the more entertaining things, apart from David Christie nearly bouncing off the ceilings the minute that Martin Hemmingson puts in a hot lap and a DPI. We've had a serial reference earlier on. Well done, David.
It deeply upset me.
I didn't even know or realise I'd made a reference to
the wheat biscuit with milk.
The whole point of it.
No, I absolutely didn't even realise that. I think that says more about me than you, Yusuf.
The funny thing was, I was sitting next to Jon Fabricius Terral, and like literally as soon as I heard the words wheat biscuit and milk, I went, "Oh my god, he's just done a cereal reference right there." But Yeah, but it's we've had some really, really great flat-out qualifying action. The drivers and teams have really put on a hell of a show tonight, Kieran.
They really have in both sessions, in night and day. We've seen some fantastic driving throughout, and yeah, I'm looking at the battle of the GT3s as well. I've been looking at those throughout the entire session, and that's going to really be an exciting battle with the last 40 minutes of this qualifying session left to go. All hands on deck then as to who is going to grab those pole positions.
All hands on deck, but they better make sure it's ship-shape and Bristol fashion, good sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We might be having some developments in the GTE class because DIS have just done a personal best in Sector 1, a personal best in Sector 2, and maybe, just maybe, they could be finding themselves jumping up to the top of the standings. Right as I say that, I think they're pulling out of the way, so maybe not quite finding... Actually, are they on the Mulsanne Straight?
Yeah, that's actually James Duber in the 64 Satellite Racing DPI that's just got past. So... Right, my gut instinct tells me that behind the wheel of the 45 has got to be Andy Kirsten.
It's always going to be Andy Kirsten, and apologies, actually he's on an outlap, so he's come out of the pits, but either way, maybe he can find some time. That's just me trying to cover up for my error, because I was frantically pointing to David, get the DIS car up, and then realised that he's just on an outlap.
Oh dear. We have also had our, I think the biggest moment... In Q2, Martin Hemmingson, I think it was going down the Mulsanne Straight, literally rode over the... He did like an ollie, like a skateboarder, over the barriers on the Mulsanne on his way to setting the fastest lap in DPI in Q2. Like, I literally...
Was that lap he did the fastest lap?
Yes!
I thought that was when... Because I was talking to Kieran at the time. Wasn't that when he got behind one of the GT cars and did the... frustration
yes, what was it? The frustration wiggle. That's your trademark. Yeah. I'm going to do the other type of the trademark, which is the wiggly frustration.
Right. You're just trying to steal Kieran's thunder now.
No.
Yeah, this seems like an off-brand sort of...
Well, I mean...
Guys, I'm going to jump in for a second. I'm going to direct your attention to James Zuba here. Not at the moment, but he is just 3/100ths of a second off of the pace of that pole lap at the moment. So he could be, if he gets a good section 3, able to actually improve on that. This is a potentially huge lap right here.
I'm just keeping my eyes. I'm actually riding on board with Gabor Hevesi in the number 22 Mugen Sim Racing coming down the Mulsanne, and we're actually riding on board into Indianapolis. Oh, back end steps out. He corrects with the left hand down through. That was definitely a big old moment. We saw that car in the barriers yesterday evening with official free practice 1 when Klanik, I think, actually did a Tony Hawk 540 sideways into the barriers off of Indianapolis. Now passing the WOSR iZone Performance 51 car. And now is going into Indianapolis. Very nice and neatly controlled there by Gabor Hevesi. And then we'll go through to Arnage. It was actually going into Mulsanne corner that the back end stepped out. And that's one of the things that we really, really admire from these drivers. How quick and how cat-like their reactions are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're absolutely incredible sometimes. As DIS have now started their hot lap. I'm just double checking this. They are on a hot lap. They haven't done any sectors yet, so I'll be keeping an eye on that to see how that does change over the course of the lap. Not seeing any other real updates so far in the GTE class, as Mattia Krupi is on a lap. He's a couple of tenths down off his personal best, so maybe if he has got a good final sector, he can improve, but I doubt it'll be enough to pit Pauli Ahonen off this at least Q2 pole spot.
Yeah, Gabor Hevesi now heading into pit lane. And we have seen dramas going into the pits here at Le Mans in years past. You know what? This qualifying session has been even more visceral than what we've experienced this year. You know, myself, all of us has been a part of at least a qualifying session this season. This is where, Yusuf, that these drivers have now... they know that tomorrow is when the real hard work begins. The drivers are going to have to be fully rested, fully hydrated. Then you've also got the strategy engineers that are looking at all the data, giving the drivers guidance where and wherefore on what to do, when they're going to need to pit. We're going to have to keep a keen eye on that over the course of twice around the clock.
I think we're going to have to keep a keen eye on DIS because they've gone green in Sector 1, they've gone green in Sector 2. So if we could bring up Mr. Andy Kurtzen from that GTE45 car, that would be wonderful, because I am really interested to see, because this isn't just for DIS to take 4th in Q2, this is for DIS to get 3rd. And when we spoke to Andy Kurtzen in that press conference, he said his target is to beat the Musto 54 car. It's to go for 3rd and get another podium in the GTE class, and at the moment they might be on point to doing just that.
Yeah, very much the case. Who are you keeping your eyes on at the moment, Kieran, in GT3?
This car right here, the 717 of Max Budovic, who is on a flying lap right now. Sector 1, looking at it, 2/10 off of Adam Serrage's number 41 pole position time, or I should say fastest lap in the session so far. So keeping an eye on him and to see what this battle between Mugen Sim Racing and Unison Racing will end up as. Unison Racing coming into this as the leaders of the championship. Mugen Sim Racing here ahead by more than a second. So Max Bunovic has got it all on his hands here to try and scythe that gap down as much as possible.
Yeah, very much the case. David, it's, I mean, DPI, it's just been an absolute binge of speed over two-hour quali sessions, isn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I mean, Satellite Racing 64 has been almost a stranglehold on the class. The ridiculous alien-like pace from the team earlier on sets them up in a fantastic position, but it's still not over yet. We've got just a couple of minutes left to go in the qualifying session, and my eyes are kind of getting drawn to Loic Muir in the Team Rookie Monsters 666 car, because try as he might, he is trying to chip away at that gap there. They've got the fastest Sector 1 time out of everyone there, and ironically the 65 Satellite Racing team have the fastest Sector 2, so 64 Satellite Racing can be beaten, but it's going to take something special from one of the teams here, Alex.
It is indeed.
DIS have just improved. They've gone 3/10 quicker. They're up to 4th in class, and that means they're within those 7/10 to the WOSR iZone performance car, and have, for now, provisionally locked in that 3rd place spot.
Oh, we got
qualifying.
2 yellow flags out. Sorry about that, Yusuf. 2 yellow flags out, Sector 2 and Sector 3.
One was for Jose Berengawa.
Yeah, a lot of the LMP2 cars have remained in the pit lane. Gabor Hevesi still out there and is again having to wrestle with the car, having now making his way through Arnage and now down towards Indianapolis. DSR Dream Team B32 Racing still out there, and I haven't really seen any improvements thereof. I know that DSR Dream Team are more than likely on an outlap. B32 Racing have got to within 2.5 tenths of their best first sector, 32.762. Gabor Hevesi is struggling with the car. He's about half a second off in Sector 1, nearly 7 tenths of a second off in Sector 2. DSR Nightmare running about 4 tenths off. And here we have the number 65 of Ryan Nash, David Christie. How's he getting on at the minute with the sectors?
Ryan Nash, he's gone purple in Sector 1, so he's on a very, very fast current sector just now. The problem is for Ryan is trying to hook the rest of the lap up, but what we've seen from that 65 is he's more than definitely got the potential to do an upset. However, as he goes wide at the second chicane there, a huge tank slapper, the rear end of that car just lights up as he tries too early to get back onto the power here as we go into an instant replay here. You see him down on through the brakes here. I think he was caught off guard by that car that was just in front of him, missing the point there, but the car just fires itself out. Now I wonder, this is the thing that we've seen. We heard from the interview from Team Rookie Monsters, Chris Gitsov. that car looks dramatic, it looks exciting, but it is actually fast. So I wonder if they did actually lose any time at all. We'll keep an eye as the car comes through the second checkpoint here. But Ryan Nash lighting the screens up. I think he lost about 0.2 of a second going through that second sector here. But Ryan Nash currently making his way down through the left-hander here on the accelerator. Car looking very, very smooth. We've got a yellow flag out in sector 2 just now, and I believe that is for Max Bunovic in the 717 Unison Racing machine. That's been lifted off as well. But yeah, this is what I mean. Surely there's also, Alex, got to be team orders coming into play, because the last thing you want championship wise is a 65 usurping the 64.
It's a bit of a 50-50 on that one when it comes to a racetrack like Le Mans. You know, you're not always going to have your team drivers possibly thinking, yeah, I'll play ball, and then some of them will decide, actually, I do want to get pole position for the team, or I do want to contribute to said pole position. Actually, in the meantime, I have just kept an eye on what has happened to the DSR Nightmare car. They have had an absolute nightmare, because I just caught sight of the car heading into the Porsche curves, where the rear end has lost the rear wing, okay, through the Porsche curves, no rear aero. And earlier on, I could have wound back, but it was a very, very lengthy time. The car has trundled its way at very slow speed. So it rejoins, gets out of the kitty litter, misses the wall on the escape road, and very shortly, that's the ID SimSport GTE car. And then very shortly, they'll also have Unison Racing. There's a car coming up. That's more than likely that is the... Yeah, look at the speed from Team Rookie Monsters going through there just to circumnavigate not just DSR Nightmare, but also that is the ID SimSport, I think, GT3 outfit.
Just to give you an update then, Ryan Nash has brought it into the pits then for the 65 Satellite Racing team with 2:10 left on the clock. That's it, they're done. They can't improve on that third place just now.
Oh, the ID SimSport has just hit the... Now, was there... I don't know whether there was the slightest of touches there between Loic Meunier and also the ID SimSport car, because... And Mugen's just had to get out of the way. Loic Meunier is just literally assaulting the circuit.
Well, that's one way of putting it, really. I guess that's the most polite way of putting it. But
well, it's the politically correct way of saying things, wouldn't you agree?
I absolutely would. But 1.5 minutes left to go. This is it. This is now the final couple of laps here.
So this is what happened to the ID SimSport car. You could see the car was out of shape already going through the Corvette curves there. So a little bit of too much on the rear end, and the car said, "You're having a laugh."
Yeah. Looks like there's quite a few cars now coming into pit lane, which includes the 128 Satellite Racing Corvette. That was going through that was a NetherRealm through the wall, wasn't it, Yusuf?
Yeah, Pauli Ahonen seemingly finding the same skills that the 64 car have. It's no surprise that they're both at the top of their standing.
Yeah, it's the brand new flux capacitor update for R Factor 2 that's just been brought out. But,
all you need is Doc Brown, Marty McFly, and the DeLorean. Yeah,
I don't quite think he was doing 88 miles an hour.
No, he was definitely doing a hell of a lot more than that,
though.
And looks like I think we are fast approaching the end of qualifying. We did have a bit of a reversal, so it was nighttime through into daytime. Hopefully very soon we'll be able to give you the combined qualifying efforts. So really, top of the timesheet, high DPI is 64 Satellite Racing, isn't it, David?
Yeah, it certainly is. 64 Satellite Racing pole position in this second qualifying session. It's the 666 Loic Meunier car of Team Rookie Monsters, still on a hot lap, so that could change. In second place, 65 Satellite Racing for the hypercars in third place in class. Team Rookie Monsters 555 in class. In fourth position, I'm gonna distract myself there because Loic Meunier has actually went faster in sector 2 by 5/100 hundredths of a second. I'm going to have to keep an eye on Loic because this could all change very, very quickly. Sean Butler for Axel Sports in 5th position in Class 5. Ducton takes 6th position in Class in that one. But this is starting to get a little bit scary with just a couple of corners left to go for Loic Meunier.
Okay, Roland Zooks is fastest in LMP2. That provisionally, I think, gives them the 2 points for pole position for tomorrow's race, which starts in just under 16 hours and 20 minutes. Joao Barbosa at the moment has put in an equal first sector time of a 31.848 in the number 16. Juices Motorsport Club LMP2 car. Roy de Muink, the Dutch driver in the number 15, has been about a tenth and a bit behind. David, you're catching my eye with... he's...
Oh my God, what is going on? Right, Loic Meunier in Sector 2 has went faster, but so is James Zuba. Both of them on track to beat their current times right now, and they're both coming towards the final couple of corners.
What's the differentials in terms of the lap? Here's Loic Meunier in the 666. Team Rookie Monsters bouncing over the curbs, gets it all tail happy and sideways, and goes across the line. 3:21.858. Wow.
Still improves, but still not enough. Half a second behind, but Zuba still ahead. So as it stood, Zuba was still way ahead of this. And as it could be, we could be back into the 320s for James Zuba. So we'll very quickly see if we can shift over to him just now. And here he is, James Zuba, just coming through the final couple of corners now for DPI. Sorry for hijacking the
no, that's
recap
fine. That's
here.
fine.
But oh my goodness me, the speed he's got coming in to these final couple of chicanes. This is huge for James Zuba. He goes across the line. What can he do? He comes across just now. I'm waiting. Has he invalidated his lap?
I think he did. I think he might have done.
way.
He cut the forward chicane, and that is it.
I'm devastated.
You know what? On that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a brief commercial break. We're going to give you a roundup. Who are our pole sitters for the EEWC 2021 Round 6 Le Mans season finale? We'll be back in just a couple of moments' time.
Round 6 of the 2021 GTR24H EEW season Le Mans is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Azatec, Global Flix, Film Vault, ESTV, and Motorvision.tv.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Well, that was an exciting qualifying session. Two of them, of course, here at Circuit de la Sarthe. Here at Le Mans, in Pays de la Loire, Alex Goldschmidt, Kieran McGinley, David Christie and Yusuf Bin Suhail. We're going to be here for probably about the next 10 to 15 minutes just to really look back at some of what was, I think, the most action-packed, adrenaline-fueled, exciting qualifying session. I mean, Yusuf, we'll go to you first. It looks like that provisionally, Musto GD Esports, the number 53 car, I think has taken we're waiting for the official confirmation, but we think that 53 has taken provisional pole once we get, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, some highlights from both the daytime and nighttime qualifying sessions. Musto GD Esports must be feeling good right now.
Yeah, they must be feeling good. And you're the one who said must, so I decided to follow up on it. But either way,
you know what? That, Kieran, I'm going to be honest here. That actually that actually trumps the knocking these back. And you said, is that a pun? And I went, well, that's puntastic. And the look on your face said it all. So you just now returned the favour. It's 1-1.
As I said, I love puns. I give full credit to puns.
I know.
I mean, back to this. Great stuff from Mattia Krupi, but it's scary seeing the pace that Pauli Ahonen has and must have that pole unless they have a lap time deleted. But I tell you what, I'm jealous of this man right next to me, Davey Christie, because somehow when we got assigned our classes, I just thought, he's got the DVI class. There's going to be no challenge there. Satellite racing, he's going to smash it. And then lo and behold, the final seconds, it goes right down to the wire, David.
It was absolutely fantastic, and obviously, you know, I had the lion's share of the excitement early on in that night practice. But my goodness me, I mean, nothing could have prepared me for that final lap there. And if anything, I'm actually more excited. I know, obviously, you know, Satellite Racing were dominant in that nighttime practice. But I'm really fancying now a little bit of fisticuffs and a little bit of fighting now.
Yeah.
With that second place team.
Yeah. David, Martin Hemmingson, man of the evening by a considerable amount. James Juba, we could have seen him really helping the cause, but I mean, this is the moment I was talking about. Look, literally, bang, straight on, and he carried on and set his fastest lap of the Q2 session. Adam Surej, another driver that was not denied. Taylor Lane, who you spoke to the other day, had some dramas along the way as well, and that was going through and towards Indianapolis. That's a corner that's caught a lot of people out this evening, and also all the way through free practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going back to Martin Hemmingson, that little wiggle moment coming out of the back straight, I would not be surprised to hear him being spoken to by race control about that, because while it's not in the rule book about that, what is in the rule book is an unsportsmanlike behaviour, and that sort of strays that line, doesn't it? Because you know exactly what he's doing. He's doing it because he can't. He doesn't want to get into trouble for using his headlights, and he's wanting to show his discontent. But you're driving in a manner what would be classed in you know, back home in the UK from Motorsport UK, driving in a manner that's incompatible with safety.
It's as in an unsporting manner. But we're going to leave that one to race control.
Yeah.
You know what is really, really interesting? DSR Dream Team have had a little bit of trouble, but it's been worse. It's been a nightmare for the Nightmare Team. That's the first time I've actually said that this season. ID Sim Sport, this was the moment you caught, Kieran, coming out of the Porsche, you know, coming out of Corvette. Back end steps out, trying to put the power down, and Team Rookie Monsters manages to get out of the way. And here's the Dream Team themselves, and this is heading towards the Ford chicane. But what does this mean for the championship? Because there are double points. That is 2 points for pole position, 2 points for completing the entire twice around the clock endeavour here at Le Mans. This means that Satellite Racing
I missed that music. I'm glad we got to hear it again.
Here we go. Our broadcast. There we are.
Yes. Well done, boys. Right.
Well, firstly, we have to thank all of you for you know what? He can't get it. You're part Italian. I think you've become a part of Vive la Révolution. You know, you become a bit French.
I hear music, I start singing.
Oh my goodness me!
I think you can hear our production team somehow blaming you for that.
It wasn't me. No, Peter this went like this. I thought he was either going, I'm not doing anything, or he was doing like the Australian football referees where they just go like this.
It's good.
It's good. But what does this mean for the championship standings? I mean, we have, in the lead up to this, we have been waxing lyrical on this, that it is double points. It's 50 points for a win in each class, 2 points for pole position, 2 points for being there at the end of the race, twice around the clock. So what does this mean? DPI, Satellite Racing, the 64, extend their championship lead to 16 points ahead of the sister car in the 65. DEAC Hackers now still keep themselves mathematically in with a title opportunity in LMP2. It closes the gap to current championship leaders Vargas Sim Racing to 48 points. Musto GD Esports extend their, what was a 13-point lead to now 15 points ahead of WOSR iZone Performance. Still can't count out DIS Sim Racing Lab in the 45, and there is also one talking point that we have discussed. We're going to go into a little bit detail in the lead up to the race. That is the 54 Musto GD Esports car. Mugen Sim Racing closed the gap to Unison Racing to 18 points. The race, it's in just over 16 hours' time. Twice around the clock, guys. I don't think I really need to put into words what my excitement level is and the adrenaline level is right now. And that's here in the studio, in production, and also with all the teams and the drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I essentially am watching different classes for different reasons right now. I look at the DPI and I urge viewers, don't watch that for the championship, watch that for the race. Satellite versus Team Rookie Monsters is going to be a fantastic battle between them. You look over to LMP2, that's one that you watch for the race and the championship because Deuces, Mugen, DAC Hackers seem so close. Ramada Motorsports have a shout as well, but they've just seemed a little bit off the pace, and DAC Hackers looking like favourites to win right now. And again, GTE, Satellite Racing and Musto, it's a really tight battle between the two of them. And Kieran, you've been keeping an eye on that GT3 class.
I have, yes. It's they've been going back and forth, especially in this qualifying session. One had the upper hand in one session, the other had the other. What that's meant, though, is that Mugen Sim Racing did grab that first place in the GT3, so they do get that 2 points. That is confirmed now ahead of Unison Racing. That is exactly the sort of start they wanted to make in their point scoring this weekend. And the first lot of points in the GT3 goes the way of Mugen Sim Racing. 2 points closer, and boy, did they need that.
I've just had a quick look at the weather radar. There is a little bit more cloud cover venturing to Le Mans, which has got Alon just outside. It's coming from the south. We did see a bit of a big weather front from
Good job on the blowing.
Oh, don't start that again.
This is why we can't take him anywhere. This is why you're getting locked up in the cupboard at the
it was
end of the
all
EEWC
going so
season.
well. I think really it's got to this point now, guys. How are you all feeling?
I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Can we start it now instead?
I'm all right. I guess you'll stay for the weekend.
Yeah,
you know?
I suppose I'll stick
There's
around
nothing
for
else better today. You know, like, joking aside, I mean, come on. We've been here all week doing the practice, doing the build up, and getting everything ready. We've got everything set to go. This is a proper powder, and we're all sitting here kind of hedging our bets here, but we know that this has got potential to be an absolute powder keg ready to go off and get popcorn out. Boys, this is going to be a good one tomorrow.
Well, we've got loads of crisps over there in the corner, so I think
that is a very good point.
That one out.
Well, the Danish equivalent of Pringles, from what I can see, and even some Toblerone. We brought some Swiss chocolate here, didn't we?
Is Toblerone Swiss?
I think so.
Well, with the heat that's going on qualifying, I wouldn't want to touch them just yet. I don't know how
I think we might need to put them in the fridge.
We might have to. We might have to cool off ourselves as well.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
are you all chocolate in the fridge kind of guys over chocolate in the cupboard?
I'm not getting into this debate.
With the heat in here and the heat in the production room, I think you're going to have to.
Honestly,
I think-
with you changing out of your shirt after the camera goes off, it does get way too
I
hot.
do get that.
Don't start painting a picture for people
See?
there. Goodness
Why is it being
me.
nice to me at the end of the broadcast?
I've always liked
He's
nice
buttering
heat,
you
David.
up, David.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what it
right.
is.
I'm trying to. I've heard that I have got to sleep on the sofa in the caravan tonight, so I'm just trying to be able to get the bunk
right,
bed. That's
right.
all.
No. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Forget our sleeping arrangements. I mean, we're really enjoying being here at the studios at GTR24H HQ here in Denmark. Firstly, a big thank you to all our commercial partners: Motorvision.tv, Viper Gaming by Patriot, Global Flicks, Azatec, Film Vault Limited, Nocco, the No Carbs Drinks Company, Sten Goldman, and Esports Television. The race, the 2021 Endurance E-Racing World Championships season finale, twice around the clock at Le Mans, begins in approximately 16 hours' time. Join us live from just before 3 o'clock Central European summertime tomorrow afternoon, where titles will be decided, champions will be crowned, and as a certain actor once said in a Star Trek film, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. See you tomorrow.
Round 6 of the 2021 GTR24H EEW season Le Mans is presented in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Azatec, Global Flicks, Film Vault, ESTV, and Motorvision.tv.
A 1v2 for the tournament. Pressure is on.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor, or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.